Everyone talks about summer like it's supposed to be carefree. But if this season brings up money stress, body stress, family stress, or social stress, that's real too. Growth therapy can help with that. Whether it's your first time in therapy or your 50th, Grow makes it easier to find a therapist who fits you, not the other way around. They connect you with thousands of independent licensed therapists across the U.S., offering both virtual and in-person visits, nights and weekends. You can search by what matters, like insurance, specialty, identity, or availability, and get started in as little as 2 days. And if something comes up, you can cancel up to 24 hours in advance at no cost. There are no subscriptions, no long-term commitments. You just pay per session. Grow helps you find therapy on your time. Whatever challenges you're facing, Grow Therapy is here to help. Grow accepts over 100 insurance plans, including Medicaid in some states. Sessions average about $21 with insurance, and some pay as little as $0 depending on their plan. Visit growtherapy.com/booknow to get started. That's growtherapy.com/booknow. growtherapy.com/booknow. Availability and coverage by state and insurance plan.
If you've ever been told everything looks normal, but still don't feel yourself, this podcast is for you. Welcome to the Cornerstone Integrative Healing Podcast, where we're changing the face of healthcare so you can understand your body and take your health back. Because the truth is, most people are left managing symptoms without ever being told why their body is struggling in the first place.
Here, we take a root cause, whole body approach, connecting your physical, emotional, and spiritual health so you can finally start moving forward. And most importantly, we point you to the one and only true healer, Jesus. Hello, I'm Kari, Coody, your co-host. I'm a pharmacist turned integrative health practitioner, and after 20 years in the traditional healthcare system, I saw firsthand just how many people were left without real answers, and I knew there had to be a better way.
Oh, hey, I'm Jenn, Patriarca. God gave me a desire to help others through natural healing many years ago. And after more than 20 years in functional nutrition, he brought Kari and I together for this mission. A mission to help you understand your body, trust what it's telling you, and give you the tools and confidence to take your health back.
Through these conversations, you can expect simple, straightforward guidance on real health topics, along with practical steps that support your body, your mind, and your faith. Because healing isn't just physical, and it doesn't have to feel so overwhelming. We're really glad that you're here, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss new episodes every Monday.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. Kari and Jenn here. So happy to have you back. This podcast is here to really just help you think differently about your health and healing. And we just really want to point you to root cause and what your body's trying to tell you. So we just hope you take these episodes as just something to think about and dig deeper. So today we're digging deeper on bloating and gas. This is a big one, I think, for a lot of people. I think if we wanted to just concentrate on digestion, Kari, we could have a very large practice by itself.
It's true. Hugely important.
Yes, hugely, hugely important. So, I think bloating, a lot of people kind of battle with here and there, sometime, some way, experience it throughout their lifetime. As gas too. But bloating and gas, again, are not random. They're signals, right? And so we just want to talk a little bit about, okay, what is your body signaling? What should you be thinking about if you do have these symptoms? But first, I just want to back up a little bit and talk just maybe a little bit about the foundational digestive issues, because making sure people understand this is really important, especially with the pervasiveness of PPIs or proton pump inhibitors, which are also antacids nowadays. It's really important that we talk about. So, your stomach is an acid producing machine. As I said before, the pH should be somewhere between 1.5 to 2, ideally when you're eating, to break down the food properly. Unfortunately, what happens when you have low hydrochloric acid, high stress hormones, what will happen is the food will actually sit in the stomach longer, waiting to digest. That bolus, that chyme of food, is just trying to get acidic enough and break down. Now you add antacids on top of that, and you've really impaired digestion. And so what happens is the food starts to ferment, and you get the inorganic acids, and those can come up and cause acid reflux and belching. And so stress, age is a big one. Hydrochloric acid naturally goes down after 35. So those are the two big ones. B vitamin deficiency, zinc deficiency will also cause low hydrochloric acid, because you need both of those to reduce hydrochloric acid.
And
Salt, sodium, huge.
Yeah.
Huge. So in order for that bolus of food to start to move into the small intestines and get bile release and pancreatic enzyme release, it has to reach a certain pH to signal that, which, if we're high stress and our hydrochloric acid is low, we do not get. And so we don't get a good, release of bile and pancreatic enzymes, which are very alkaline, right? So that stomach, which is super acid, then moves into the small intestine, and it should get the bile and the pancreatic enzymes to bring up that pH. If it doesn't, that's when you start to get what's called duodenal ulcers. So the beginning of the small intestines will start to erode because you're not getting good bile and pancreatic release, which are more alkaline, to bring that pH down. And also you get impaired fat digestion. You'll get the bloating, especially after a fatty meal, or you'll be running to the bathroom. That's a big sign. If you're running to the bathroom like after you eat, that's a good sign of low pancreatic enzyme output, which is very common with stress. And then this all leads to compromised gut lining. So it makes your gut lining more permeable. You don't get complete breakdown of proteins because you don't have good hydrochloric acid production. You can't break down the fascia around the meat, right? You need a certain pepsin gets activated at a certain pH, so that doesn't get activated. And so things like inflammation will start to go up. You start to get nutrient deficiencies because you're not absorbing the food because it's not broken down properly. It leads to food sensitivities, bloating, gas, and immune activation. When we're talking about bloating and gas, the first thing that you should be thinking about is, one, chewing your food, taking time to really chew your food, not drinking a ton of liquids to dilute the hydrochloric acid. And then two, making sure you have really good hydrochloric acid. If you have acid reflux, your hydrochloric acid production is low.
Which is exactly the opposite of what they're going to tell you if you go conventional and say, what can I do for this? They're going to say, take a proton pump inhibitor, take antacids,
right?
Which is the exact opposite of what you should be doing. Now, not that those couldn't be used short term, but that's not the issue. And we did talk about that in a previous episode that we'll link as well. We went into more detail about that. It's a huge problem, though. Tons and tons of people are on these medications because lots of people have acid reflux and all of these different, right?
Right.
So, yes.
And they're depleted in B vitamins. Sorry to keep it.
No, it's good. I was just curious. We just did the hormonal episode. This is totally off script, but I was just wondering, does signaling affect these? Any? Like signaling from your pituitary or hypothalamus or anything like that?
So most people don't know this. Your pituitary controls all the epithelial gut turnover in the gut.
Dude.
Yes, people don't know that.
I didn't know that.
Yes, I'm telling you, like, everything's connected.
That's
I've had
crazy.
People with concussions who've had digestive issues, and I'm like, okay, it's not getting better, something's not right. So I'm like, have you ever had a concussion? They're like, oh yeah, I was at a bad car accident 5 or 10 years ago, and I was like, oh, okay, we got to work on your pituitary. And sure enough, like, work on the pituitary, and they're digestive. So yes, huge.
I mean, wow. We should do a whole episode on like all of these things are affected by the signaling, and nobody thinks about that. Like, I mean, I'm just learning more about this because you're sharing with me of all of these different things that signaling from our brain and from these organs really does make a huge difference. And like I said, we just talked about it in hormones. Here it is again in digestion. Yep. Two big problems for tons of people.
Right. And that's why you have to do the basics first, right? Like,
there's no getting around it.
yeah,
People,
I know
listen.
I know. We know it's not sexy, but you
It's
but yeah.
not, and we need reminders, the
Right.
basics. We're talking about blood sugar and, like I said, digestion, getting sunlight, making sure
I
that you're
know.
getting enough rest, hydration. What did I leave out? Like, it's just it all works together because
Yeah.
all of those are safety signals for your body.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that plays a huge role in digestion, right?
Yeah.
Your digestion is not going to be prioritized if your body is in a stress response, period.
Correct.
Like, it
Correct.
doesn't it's wiring your body for survival. You don't need to digest things to survive. I mean, digest
Not for
things
the
well, I
moment.
guess.
Not in the moment.
Not
Yeah.
in the moment, yes.
Right.
So, anyway,
Yes.
we'll get off our soapbox, but for
Yeah.
real, that's super cool about the signaling. I'm glad I thought about that.
Yes, me too. Thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah.
So hidden causes. You wanna start?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
these are just some other things that are play into this conversation that we're talking about digestion and mainly gas and bloating. But we wanted to start off with a good foundation of these things are needed for proper digestion. But here's some other hidden things. So, and this one's sad to me because I do love carbonated drinks.
Same.
Um,
Same.
but carbonated drinks really do not help your digestion.
No. Not
What
it's not it's
do
not
you know
great
the
for you.
science behind, like, why? I was trying to think, like, just to explain it,
I
why
wish I
this is.
did. I don't. Is it hydrogen? What do they use?
Yeah, I think it. Gosh, I don't know. It's, like,
We
right on the
don't.
tip of my
Yeah, sorry.
tongue.
We'll get back to you guys on
But
that.
hey, it's okay. We don't know everything. See?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
just know that it does. I mean,
and
go ahead.
also I do know this. I've seen one of my mentors. He said if you're craving carbonated drinks, it's a good sign that your gut lining isn't great.
That's
I don't know.
interesting.
I don't know the science behind that or why that. Yeah, but
Well, it can definitely make, like, bloating worse for sure if you're
definitely
drinking carbonated
and
drinks,
burping.
but it also does impair your digestive system. I mean, if you're drinking a lot of any liquid, it's going to dilute those digestive juices for sure.
Sure.
But I think the carbonated drinks, specifically with the bloating, can definitely make it worse.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And again, we're not trying to take away all your fun. Maybe just drink less of them. Maybe if you find yourself drinking them a lot, just decrease that, or try to drink them outside of a full meal, or, not just not with the meal, which is how they're typically consumed. Secondly is like infections in your gut, H. pylori being a big one because it specifically decreases HCl.
Yes.
That hydrochloric acid. And so it just allows things to just brew and just stick around. And it's just super common. And I mean, it's something that we all have. It's just if it's in certain amounts, right?
Right. If it's a higher concentration than it should be, it will create issues, especially around the stomach lining. And the
Yeah.
stomach lining is where you have those parietal cells, which produces the hydrochloric acid. And so it will
Yeah.
affect your hydrochloric acid production and disrupts that whole stomach acid cascade.
Right.
And so you'll
And
get
it gets
bloating.
passed around very easily. It gets passed around if you drink after someone and they have it. So
And you have a reserve in your oral
yeah, that's
cavity.
true too.
So, if you do or been diagnosed with H. pylori, and that's not commonly done, is you have to kill the reserve, the oral reserve, because then you'll just keep swallowing it.
Right. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up for sure. And this leads obviously to gas, bloating, reflux, poor digestion because of the way that it works to decrease the HCl.
Yes.
So that's something that's often missed. I think even on gut tests sometimes, and because it really affects everything else. If there's things that are showing up and H. pylori is present, that's going to be fueling all of the things that you don't want staying there because of it decreasing HCl. Of course, there is the gut-brain axis, right? The gut and the brain are deeply connected. We've talked about that on other podcasts. And so you're having an impaired gut can definitely fuel anxiety. It can fuel different symptoms related to that, depression as well.
Bloating is
Bloating.
huge.
Yeah.
With the anxiety and stress. I feel like we always find bloating with
Yeah.
the high stress, high anxiety, or
Oh,
higher.
for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. Lactose intolerance is another one for sure. The inability to break down those dairy sugars and things just ferment in the gut. That's a big thing that can cause gas and bloating and just discomfort after eating dairy. And it kind of depends on a lot of times the quality of the dairy, the amount of the dairy, and just there's a lot of different factors that go into that. But that's definitely something to consider, as well as gluten. And again, just cutting out these foods is not necessarily the answer. However, it can be very helpful while you work on some of these root causes for sure. So don't hear us say just cut out these foods and your digestion is going to be better. I mean, it might be better temporarily, but you need to work on the reason why it's impaired in the first place. But removing those foods can be super helpful, though, while you're working on that. And what about the thyroid in the gut? That was a huge connection for me with constipation that I had for years. I never thought about that, but your thyroid really does. It's all about the metabolism and how it slows down digestion. If your thyroid's not working properly, if it's low, then your metabolism is going to be low. Thus, your digestion is going to be sluggish. That's one that's often missed.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, especially for women, because they are more affected because they have higher levels of estrogen. They're more affected. Yeah. They're more apt to have thyroid issues because of the estrogen.
I feel like we're more sensitive to stress too. I mean, women are. Yeah.
Because
and it goes back to the signaling thing too. Right?
Absolutely.
For sure. You got to get that signaling going.
Yeah. And that's why, again, and I want to say this again, if you have to start in the right place. So hear us when we say, this might be the initial problem. But yeah. And then you want to talk about celiac, gluten sensitivity?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'll mention cutting gluten out.
Oh, you did? Yes. Yeah. So, again, especially if you have thyroid issues, because
that's true.
The gluten protein is very close to the thyroid, or identical actually to the thyroid proteins. And so this is a big one. If you have, chronic bloating, gas, it might not be diagnosed celiac disease, but it definitely could be a gluten sensitivity. And it's not necessarily directly related to the gluten, because a lot of people, and I know you've heard this before, if they go to Europe, it's a little bit better. They may still have symptoms, so they're not as bad, is because, we douse our wheat with glyphosate right before they harvest it to dry it out.
Yeah.
So people are much more sensitive to this.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. And then parasites. Commonly overlooked, especially here in the States. Mainstream doesn't really think it's a problem. It's a massive problem. Could be parasites, whether they're single cell like amoebas or multicellular buggers, can cause gas, bloating, irregular stools, cravings, create disruption in digestion and nutrient absorption for sure, leaky gut. And when you're killing these off, they carry a lot of mold and metals, and that creates another set of problems. So, definitely something to be considered if gas and bloating are constant.
Yeah. I know digestion issues are, sometimes it's hard to know where they're coming from. We definitely get that for sure. So we're just giving you some things to consider here, and just really wanting you to look at it and differently, not as something that you need to suppress, but as something that you need to just be curious about and consider some of these things, and just try changing up some of the ways that you consume your food. Really, I think a lot of times you do need another perspective for digestive issues, because you need somebody else to look at everything from just a
30,000-foot view.
Yeah. Right. Because it is confusing, and it's very frustrating, because sometimes this has definitely happened to me. I'll be more, I guess, like, thinking about what I'm eating, of course, and like trying to put it with symptoms. And then it's like everything will be making me bloated because I'm stressed about it. I'm trying to figure it out. And that's not a good feeling. Because, your body's just trying to tell you something, but sometimes you just need some extra set of eyes on your situation.
Yeah. And these are just simple, I think, and actionable things that you can do. So slow down when you eat, 3 deep breaths before you even start eating. Try to avoid drinking a ton with your meal to really support that strong hydrochloric acid production. Make sure if you do have acid reflux or you've been on a PPI in the past that you have someone check you for, your B vitamins and zinc, and make sure you can actually produce good hydrochloric acid. Sometimes you need to supplement with hydrochloric acid until you get that stomach, healed. So bitters are really great things that stimulate hydrochloric acid production. We have bitter receptors on almost every cell on the body. So bitters, there's a ton of research. If you want to ever go down a rabbit hole, bitters are great. But bitters before a meal, like I'll take the bitters, I forget what they call them, before they use in like just alcohol drinks. I'll take, sadly it's a sparkling water, but sometimes I'll take, put the bitters in the sparkling water and take several sips, like an hour before I eat, just to kind of prime my digestion. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Oh no. I was also going to say apple cider vinegar can be good too, as well, to help with digestion, or eating.
Take that with food though.
A pickled. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, with food.
Yeah, definitely.
Or eating something that's fermented or pickled or something like that can be helpful.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, the apple cider vinegar if you don't have hydrochloric acid. But yeah, and that's a good test. Sometimes if you've been on a PPI long term or some sort of acid, blocker. Yeah, your stomach will have ulcerations. You'll get a little bit of gastritis, which is inflammation in the stomach lining, and so it'll burn. So that's just a good indication if you do get burning with the hydrochloric acid or even the apple cider vinegar that you might have a little inflammation in that lining. And then supporting good bile flow, right? This is super important. Again, bitters, good hydrochloric acid production so that chyme of that bolus of food can get acidic enough. But beets are one of the main things to support bile flow. It's just great to thin the bile. Again, estrogen coagulates bile, so it thickens it. So for women, bile flow is even more important because it can thicken up. And then just good gut lining foods. So liver is huge for the vitamin A, vitamin C foods, huge. We want to help reduce inflammation in the gut. So, eating fried foods, especially fried gluten, no bueno. It just creates such an inflammatory response. In the gut. So these are just some simple things. And again, please, if you have questions, reach out. We'd love to, this is a big topic. I feel like digestion is a very big topic. There's a lot to it, and there's really simple things that you can do to really help your digestion. So, reach out. We'd love to answer more questions, or send this to somebody that you think might benefit from it. And also we are always available. If you'd like to book a free call with us, just 15 minutes to chat and see if we can help you. And if not, of course, we can always try to get you the help that you need. So anything else?
No, that was great.
Yeah.
It's digestion is tricky, but it's so important. So I think the whole goal of this is to help you rethink some things and not just dismiss and cover up what your body is trying to tell you, because it really is. Digestion's key to everything. So we hope you've enjoyed it. We'll see you on the next episode.
If this episode has served you in any way, drop a review wherever you listen to podcasts. We'd love it if you'd share any aha moments or takeaways on Instagram and tag us at Cornerstone Integrative Healing.
And if you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do so. We want to continue to walk this journey with you. Until next time, friends, know that we are praying for you.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.